Today, they are superstars and are revered in their home countries, but that wasn't always the case. In today's video, we take a look at 3 superstars and their beginnings at clubs in their home countries. The story of Lionel Messi has been told thousands of times, and the beginnings of Jude Bellingham at Birmingham are also well known. But what about the superstars from nations whose national football is not on everyone's radar? That's exactly what I want to talk about today. And of course, we are starting the series in Africa. After this great tournament, there's no other option for me. But if you want to know more about the beginnings of other players, no matter which continent, then write it in the comments. Maybe they'll be in the next video. Let's start with Africa's Footballer of the Year. He may have lost the final at the AFCON with Nigeria, but he won thousands of hearts again. Victor Osimhen, who gave his all for his team at this tournament. We'll start the other way around this time, working our way from the end to the beginning. His career in Europe in a nutshell. In 2018 he moved to Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga, but things didn't go well there. This was followed by a loan to Charleroi in Belgium, and then a permanent transfer. He caught the eye in the Jupiler League, and OSC Lille struck for €22.4 million. His career took off. He continued to improve in France, scoring 13 goals in 27 games. The next step just 1 year later, to Napoli for €75 million. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you anything here. 10 goals, 14 goals, 26 goals. Crowned by the Scudetto. Osimhen has become one of the best strikers in the world. But now let's turn back the clock. He was born in Lagos, Nigeria's largest city, in 1998. He had to overcome a few strokes of fate early on. He was still young when his mother died and his father lost his job shortly afterwards. The family needed money, and young Victor wandered the streets of the big city trying to sell water to passers-by. His father wanted him to become a doctor. Osimhen wanted to be like Didier Drogba. It all started with Olososun United, a team for young players coached by Paul Erikeve. His former coach later described him as a fighter. The path continued to a team called Synergy Ultimate, then to the Ultimate Strikers Academy, a selection team in Lagos that aims to promote young talent. Surely someone like Osimhen would stand out there. Not back then. He was kicked out of the team at 15 because the coaches didn't see the great potential in him. But fate was kind to him. A scout named Shira Ayila had seen him play a few times and invited him to take part in a mass trial for the under-17 national team. The problem was that the trials took place in Abuja, the capital, more than 300 kilometers away. He had never left Lagos before. Naturally, there was no money for a plane ticket. So Scout Ayila got into a car with Osimhen and 5 other boys and drove to Abuja, 10 hours, in an uncomfortable car. Of course, there were hundreds of talented players waiting to show off. Each player only had 15 minutes to show themselves. The coach there, Emmanuel Amunike, a former Barcelona player. The aim of the talent scouting was to put together a team for the under-17 AFCON, which took place in Niger. And Osimhen made the most of his 15 minutes, scoring twice. But the coach was still not particularly impressed. But someone, it is still not clear whether it was the assistant coach or even the team doctor, persuaded Amunike and convinced him. Osimhen was given a second chance the next day. Amunike later said, "Apart from his football abilities, I liked his character, the hunger, the desire. He was a player that was fighting. That's how he came into the team." And Osimhen repaid the trust. He scored 4 goals in 5 games at their under-17 AFCON. Nigeria reached the semi-finals and also took part in the World Cup in Chile as a result. Osimhen's breakthrough. He scored 10 goals in 6 games, was the outstanding man and caught the attention of scouts around the world. Nigeria won the tournament, led by an incredible Victor Osimhen. The top clubs were queuing up and desperately wanted the young striker, but he was unable to sign anywhere until the end of 2016, the day he turned 18. He then decided in favor of Wolfsburg. It wasn't all that easy. In Wolfsburg, they used him as a winger. He arrived with knee problems and he also caught malaria on a visit home and was hospitalized for a month. But none of this could stop Osimhen's rise. Via detours to the top, a fighter after all. Also a striker, also highly talented, Nicolas Jackson. Many Chelsea fans are frustrated. Jackson is missing out on many great opportunities and cannot yet justify the high transfer fee. His path in Europe so far? In 2019 he joined Villarreal's youth academy at the age of 18 and progressed through the youth teams there. After that, he was loaned out to CD Mirandes. After his return, he made his La Liga debut in the 21-22 season, playing 8 games but not scoring a goal. A year later, he hit the ground running, scoring 12 times in the league for Villarreal and caught the attention of Chelsea FC. In the summer, he moved to London for 37 million euros. And despite all the criticism, 9 scorers in his first 20 league games is not a bad statistic. But where are his roots? Although he now plays for Senegal, he was born in the Gambian capital Banjul. He also grew up there before his family moved to Ziguinchor, the capital of the Casamance region in Senegal. He started out as a street footballer, playing on sand. His first club was his local team, ASC Tilène. There, they quickly realized that the boy had real talent. Scouts all over the country had him on their list, so he quickly moved to one of the biggest clubs in the country, Casa Sports. His first coach recognized his talent, but also had his doubts and said of him, he was a diamond in the rough that needed polishing. He was nicknamed Neymar by his teammates because of his technical ability and his habit of dribbling too much. And he immediately took on an important role. His goals helped the team into midfield in the league. In 2018, he was then nominated for the Senegal Under-20 national team. His coach there was Youssouf Dabo. However, it was not an international match, but a league game that paved his way to Europe. In November 2018, his team Casa Sports played against AS Pekin, one of their biggest rivals. He was named player of the match under the watchful eyes of several European scouts. And they continued to watch him. He also had to turn 18 before he could sign in Europe. He went on to the youth academy of FC Villarreal, and the Senegalese Neymar, with roots in the Gambia, fought his way through, overcame all resistance and setbacks, and is now allowed to chase goals in the world's biggest league. Let's move on to the third and final professional for today. He grew up in the Gambia and also plays for the Gambia, with a lot of pride, as you could see recently at the AFCON. Yankuba Minteh. But not so fast. Let's start with the end. In the summer of 2024, Minteh will move to the Premier League, to Newcastle United. They have already bought him from Odense BK in 2023 for 8 million euros. He currently plays for Feyenoord Rotterdam on loan in the Eredivisie for 1 year. He was transferred to Denmark in 2022. It is a career in the fast lane that may make him one of the best players in Africa in the future. But let's slow things down. He was born in 2004 in Bakote, part of Gambia's second largest city, Serekunda. They still call him Messi from Bakote in his home country. There are pictures of the young Yankuba accompanying a match as a lineman in his hometown. He learned about all aspects of football at an early age. The love was there from the start. He played in the streets of his hometown before joining the Bakote United Football Academy. He stood out and moved to Steve Biko FC, a team from the town of Bakau. The team currently plays in the GFA League First Division, the highest league in the country. They play their home games at the Serekunda East Mini Stadium. The team therefore comes from Yankuba's hometown. He caught the eye of one of the country's most important youth coaches, Abdoulaye Boyan, and became part of the country's national youth teams. He was called up to the first team at a young age and impressed. At that time, Steve Biko FC was still playing in the second division and Yankuba helped the team to promotion. In September 2021, he received the Most Creative Player award at the Steve Biko FC Awards. He was just 17 years old at the time. A few months earlier, in August 2021, he was already on the shortlist for the nominees for Player of the Season for the Gambia Players Association. Don't forget, at 17. He completed his first trial with the Under-19 team at Odense BK in June 2021 at the age of 16 and returned to Denmark in July 2022, traveling with the team to a training camp in Croatia. He impressed so much there that he was offered a contract. In between the two trials, however, he was back home and continued to impress for Steve Biko FC. In the match against Wa Banjul in May 2022, for example, he scored twice. In August 2022, he was in the squad of the Under-20 national team for the West African Football Union, or short WAFU Nations Cup, together with two teammates, Dembo Sadikan and Ismaila Mane. However, there's no record of whether he actually took part in the tournament. He then moved to Denmark and quickly rose through the ranks, all the way to the Premier League. That was the early story of 3 African folk heroes who made it from the dusty sand pitches to the biggest stadiums in Europe. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and let me know in the comments which players you would like to see next. See you soon!